and just ask yourself, why do I need this? Prime example, we've all potentially done this when we were kids. I've got very, very vivid images in my head of when I was a kid, and I thought that I needed like the latest PlayStation or whatever it was. I need it. I didn't need it. I didn't need it. I wanted it. Welcome to the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you unlock your full potential, both mentally and physically, to become the best version of you. Welcome back to another episode of the Prime Life Project podcast, a place to help you both mentally and physically become the best version of you. I'm your host, Daniel James, and it's just me again today. And I think I mentioned this before, but if you take any value from today's episode, don't forget to like and share it with a friend. I definitely have mentioned that. What I meant to say was, if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And again, the little bell thing, it means you get notifications each time that we release an episode. So for those of you that are listening on Apple Podcast, we are also on Spotify, where the video is available, and also on YouTube as well, because I know some people do like to watch the video as well. So if you want to watch me do my thing with all the little props I've got in the background, normally drinking my coffee, which I've just finished, then that's how you get to do it. And I'm going to be trying to do a little bit more behind the scenes stuff this year as well. That's something that's been on my list of things to do, but I really want to sort of show what goes on into actually making these podcast episodes, especially when we've got guests on. There's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of stuff before and after that goes on, especially when we finish the interview. There's a lot of stuff after the interview where maybe Mikey gets to ask some questions and stuff. So I really want to sort of share more of that with you guys so that you get the full experience of what actually goes on, because yes, we may record for an hour when we've got a guest on or something like that, but actually the behind the scenes stuff is really, really cool, and the whole essence of what we've got going on here is absolutely awesome. So today, what I want to talk about is I got given for Christmas this cool thing called A Year of Zen. I got given it by my mum, so I'm going to give a shout out to my mum. And basically, it's a year of Zen, sayings, parables, meditations, and haikus for 2023. So I've learned what a haiku is, which is quite funny because I play on a computer game, or I did until I completed it, mate. I played a thing called the Ghost of Tsushima, and this was what I was doing during the heat wave of the last year. And basically the guy in there creates these haikus, which again I thought was fascinating. So Mikey was teaching me what haiku is, which I think is absolutely brilliant. So anyway, this one for today says it's a Tibetan Buddhist saying. So when I was thinking about what to talk about today, I basically had this thing on my desk and thought, I'm just going to talk about that, because obviously the Thursday videos that I do, again, the Thursday thoughts, you're going to see probably a few of these coming in as well, because it's normally stuff on Instagram, social media that I see, something that someone said to me that I've heard, or song lyrics or something like that. So I want to basically unpick it and sort of dive into it a bit more. But this sort of just was there at me, and I want to basically talk about that today. And it says, remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. Say it one more time. Remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. And for everything for me that happened last year, I just read that this morning. I was just like, yeah, I really like that. And then I haven't really thought any more of it. And then when I was thinking about what to talk about today, that sort of caught my eye again. I thought, let's talk about that. So I want to kind of break this down. I think for me, the biggest thing here is when it says, remember sometimes not getting what you want. I kind of want to break down that word want, because I think me and Mike have discussed it a little bit. It's that need versus want. So I basically got the definition of the word want and then the word need. And we're going to kind of break that down a little bit. So the definition of the word want is to have a desire to possess or do something. So again, remember that sometimes not getting what you desire or want to possess is a wonderful stroke of luck. So again, it's just thinking about that. Is there something in your life that you've wanted and then not been able to get? But then the need, this is the key thing, need. So a need is when you require something. You require something because it's essential or very important rather than just desirable. Now, the reason why I bring up the word need, because that's not mentioned here at all, is that sometimes we think we need something when we don't, we just want it. Look at the definition of the word again, need. The definition of the word need is require something because it's essential rather than it being just desirable. And I think a lot of times in life, we really think, I need this. I need it. And we put so much emphasis, so much pressure, so much worth on this thing, this person, this situation, whatever it is, this experience. And we build them in our head that you need it. You don't need it. You actually want it. There's a real key difference here. So let's just change this. A lot of people here will say, remember sometimes I'm not getting what you need. They'll think, oh yeah, but I didn't get what I needed. But did you actually need it? Was it just something you actually wanted? is a wonderful stroke of luck, because I'd argue so many people think that they haven't got what they needed. You've always got what you need. You've always got what you need, because you are all that you need. And the sooner you realize your own power, which again, I'm going to really be talking a lot more about this year. I'm going to really, I think, not change the direction of the podcast is the wrong word, but I'm really going to start speaking my truth a bit more about my beliefs around stuff and stuff that's really helped change my life. And it is not necessarily the spiritual path, but just understanding this eternal power that we've actually got. And when we really step into that, it's so, so powerful. And all too often we think we need things. You don't need anything. All you need is you. And to start to believing in yourself, because once you start to believe in yourself and know that you've got your own back, everything else becomes relevant, because you are all you need. You don't need anybody or anything else. The only time you need someone is when you're a child, because you genuinely do need someone to look after you, because you can't look after yourself. But if you're above the age of 18 years old, I'd argue, you don't actually need anybody. You just want them or want it. And that's the difference. Remember the difference between need and a want. A want is very ego-driven. Very like you want this thing. But again, why do you want it? Like, what is it about it that you actually want? What is it going to give you some status? Is it going to make you feel something? Normally we want things because it makes us feel a certain way. And then asking yourself, like, what is it that you're trying to feel? What's that reward you're trying to get from having, owning, having, possessing, seeing, whatever it is this thing? What is the reward you're getting? What is that feeling that you're actually getting from that? And then just work it back. What are you moving away from? Why do you need this thing to feel a certain way? What are you running away from? How are you feeling in the moment now before you have this thing? And that's what you're going to ask yourself the question. This, again, we spoke about self-awareness before. When you start to become self-aware of your emotions and how you're feeling, and just ask yourself, why do I need this? Prime example, we've all potentially done this when we were kids. I've got very, very vivid images in my head of when I was a kid, and I thought that I needed like the latest PlayStation or whatever it was. I need it. I didn't need it. I didn't need it. I wanted it. I wanted it. I wanted it because I wanted to feel like I belonged with all my other friends that had it. So I originally felt like a bit of an outsider, like I didn't really belong. But if I had this thing that I wanted, not needed, then I would fit in. So how many times have you got something like that now? How many times do we get caught? It's basically keeping up with the Joneses. We say we need these things. We don't. We want them because we want them to keep up with everybody else around us. It's like for status. You don't need to go out and get lashed. You want to. You want to most of the time because you want to be socially accepted by your friends, your family members. You want to feel accepted. Maybe you want that release. Maybe you want to forget, whatever it is. But understand, it's not a need, it's a want. And then ask yourself, why do you want it? Because it's not a need, it's a want. And it's that self-awareness. Ask yourself the questions. Why do you want it? What does it bring to the table for you? Where are you trying to move to by having it? Or what are you trying to move away from? Because we're either moving away from something or towards something. Let me say that again. You're either moving away from something or towards something. So what is this thing, situation, person, event, doing for you? Are they giving you something or are they moving you away from something? Normally a feeling. But that's the key thing to understand here, because then what happens is you're not becoming a victim of circumstance. You're taking control of life. You can start to make choices from that logical place in your brain where you can think about it rather than acting on emotions and acting on feelings. So how many times have we acted on emotions, on impulses? How many times have you bought something because you were like, oh, yeah, I really want it. You buy it and then you feel awful and you instantly get buyer's remorse because you know it costs too much money, you know you couldn't afford it, and when you thought you were going to have it, you thought you were going to feel a certain way and you don't feel that certain way. Oh, I need the latest iPhone, you get it, oh, and you don't get that feeling. So then what happens? You go and chase something else. And it could be anything. I'm just using inanimate objects as an example. But again, it could be alcohol, it could be nights out, whatever it is. But you're chasing this high, and that's not how you get the high really, long term. So I just want to break down those two words there. So again, not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. Because again, it's teaching something you don't actually want. Like, you don't need it, you want it. You want it. It's actually not getting that thing. It's a good thing for you. For a number of different reasons. I always believe that the universe has got like bigger ideas for you. I fully believe that. I fully believe that everything happens for a reason. So if you haven't got this thing that you want, so if you establish you don't need it, you want it, it's happened probably for a reason. So let's say you're going to drop £500 on the latest PlayStation 5 at Christmas, but you didn't get it. You wanted it, you didn't get it. And then turns out the energy bill thing that's happened, or something happens, or your dishwasher breaks, and then guess what? You need that £500. Well, suddenly the universe is that there's a reason why you didn't get what you wanted then. There's always a reason behind everything. Not just using it financially, but whenever anything happens in life, there is a reason behind it, cause and effect. Because people talk about luck. It says here, it's a wonderful stroke of luck. I don't believe in luck. I do not believe in luck. And again, the definition of the word luck, I've got that up here. Luck is success or failure apparently brought by chance rather than through one's own actions. With all the books I'm reading, I've mentioned this multiple times, I think, on the podcast. I love reading books from the late 1800s and 1900s. I love reading old books. I absolutely love it. And I do not believe in luck. I believe that we create the world that we live in. I believe there's cause and effect, actions. There's this universal energy that's all around us that we can't see, but it determines everything. It makes the grass grow, makes the wind blow. This is universal energy, this thing, whatever it is. And I believe that if you think about it, thought is energy. They've proven it. Like thought, there's energy that comes with thought. I don't believe in luck. I believe there's cause and effect. And then you turn around and say, yeah, but all these good people have bad things that happen to them. Okay, their actions may be good, but you don't necessarily know the energy behind those actions. So, for example, we all know these people that go and feed the homeless, or they do whatever it is. So their actions are really good and honourable, yet they're doing it for completely selfish reasons because they've got a camera or they've got a mate filming them so they can stick it on Instagram. So yes, their actions are good and they appear like a nice person, but their energy and their reasons for doing it aren't so pure. I do not believe in luck. I believe that if you genuinely put good out there and do not expect anything in return, that is when you get quote-unquote lucky. Because it's not luck. It's cause and effect. It's karma. It talks about it in the Bible. It talks about it in all these religious texts. Karma. Cause and effect. That's what it is. What is the cause? The effect that you want. It's like you get the pendulums where you got the 5 balls. You lift 3 balls up, you put them down, 2 doesn't pop out, 3 pops out. Cause and effect. Actions, reaction. You're putting the actions out there, you are going to get, whatever action you put out, you're going to get an equal reaction back. But it's the energy behind it. So if you're taking positive action, but the energy behind it's negative, you are going to get that negativity back. So it's about doing things from a pure heart and actually doing things to help people, not wanting things in return. And I've been guilty of this in the past all the time. You go and actually help someone, but behind it, you actually want something in return. And you know you do, but you're trying to be all virtuous, like, oh yeah, well, I'll help this person out. Knowing full well the reason why you were helping that person out is because you knew that you could leverage it further on down the line. And then is it any wonder why my life was a shit show back then? No. It's a difference now of actually when I do things, I do them with actual genuine intent. I actually want to help people. I don't expect anything in return. I talk to people say to me like, well, why are you trying to help me? Because I genuinely want to help. Because I've realised that when I leave this planet, my actual things, I want to have made a difference. The reason why I go and talk in schools is I genuinely want to make a difference. I get nothing back from these kids in the schools. But what I would get back is, in 30, 40 years' time, when they come to me like, oh yeah, do you mean you helped me do X, Y, and Z? Amazing. But whether I do that or not, as long as I help that person, I'm going in there with the pure intention of, I'm just trying to help some person today. And that's all I do. Someone said to me the other day, like, do not get nervous when I public speak. And I used to, all the time. But all I'm trying to do is just impact one person. On this podcast right now, I've got no idea how many people are going to listen to this episode. I'm just trying to help that one person that's listening and needs it. And it could be you. Maybe this episode's not resonating with you. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But if it does resonate with you, again, share it with a friend. Or if you know someone's going to benefit, share it with a friend. My point is, I'm not doing it to get anything in return. This podcast costs me money. I don't do the podcast for any other reason than I just want to help. Because a podcast helps save my life, I'm trying to pay it forward. It's that simple, cause and effect. And I know if I keep doing these podcasts and I keep putting that good energy out there, sooner or later I'm going to get it all back again. Whatever that looks like. But I don't care. I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing it because I genuinely want to help. I'm not thinking about what am I going to get from this. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. I've got information that I know is going to help people because it's helping me, and I can't hold on to it because that's selfish. So always think when you're doing these things, what is the energy behind the actions that you're taking? Is it actually pure and good? Only you know the answer to that. You can tell people and convince people that, oh no, I'm doing it because I'm a nice person. Blah, blah. But only you know if you're actually being genuine. I can say all this stuff to you right now, but only I know if I'm actually being genuine and authentic. And I'm telling you right now that I sleep well at night. I know myself so well. In the new year, I have done so much soul searching over the last 7 to 8 months, I could not know myself any better. It's like that whole thing with Eminem. I use it as an example for Eminem and 8 Mile, if you haven't seen it. But again, the premise of it, if you don't know, Eminem's basically from the trailer park. He's got a lot of these issues, and basically he goes to this rap battle. In the final, he goes first, and he basically tells this other rapper everything about himself. He says, "Yes, I'm this. Yes, I'm that. Blah blah blah." And he basically is so self-aware that he basically says, "I know that I'm all of these things. Now, what are you going to say to me?" And the guy has nothing to say in response. That's me right now. I know my flaws. I know my weaknesses, but I'm working on them every single day. I know myself. I know when I'm being genuine and authentic, and I know when I'm not. And it's having that self-awareness to actually check myself if I'm not being genuine, if I'm not being authentic, and that is the difference. That's everything I've got for you guys today. I absolutely love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take it easy.